winter is coming.
Roll commercials. This isn't a movie.
Jeremy, this show is based off of books that are each over 600 pages long. That's way too much material for a movie.
Game of Thrones sets up early that it's going to be 67% horse riding.
Shut up. Nobody cares about your dumb jokes.
Also, you didn't have one other sucker on the watch that could have joined you on this expedition so that when you split off, it didn't have to be solo?
As they explain later, the Night's Watch has dwindled in size, so no, they probably couldn't have spared more men.
Something strange in your neighborhood. Who are you gonna call? No one. Absolutely no one. You've got two buddies right around the corner, but sure, backup is overrated.
Cringy singing aside, these scouts are clearly meant to be scouting. That's why they're called scouts. When this guy sees the camp, he clearly goes into a stealthy position to scout out the camp. He's not going to call for backup.
I always wondered whatever happened to the knights who say knee.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Surprise! But how did you not see her on your way in? Apparently Sir Featherstash has no peripheral vision.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
They're savages. One lot steals a goat from another lot. Before you know it, they're ripping each other to pieces.
That's wildiness.
Stupid joke aside, this show is set in medieval times. Part of the story involves each character's racial prejudices, which are actually pretty realistically portrayed.
The dead men seem to have moved camp.
They were here.
Wait, is this supposed to be where young Clint Howard lookalike found the dead bodies? Because there is no way all of this was moved by the time it took them to get over here.
Are you seriously questioning a mythical type of creature in a fantasy world where said creatures exist? Come on, man.
Go on. Father's watching.
No, winter is coming. Wrong line, bastard.
Jeremy, stop making these stupid jokes. They aren't actual sins.
10 is too young to see such things.
I'm sure he's seen much worse on the winternet already. Those ravens will bring you anything, if you're willing to wait a few weeks.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
I should have gone back to the wall and warned them, but I saw what I saw.
Then not deserting and letting everyone know would probably have been a great idea, and you would get to keep your head.
He saw a White Walker and was scared out of his mind. Clearly he wasn't thinking things through.
Also, isn't the wall like 600 miles from Winterfell? How do people cover those kinds of distances on foot so quickly?
First of all, saying that the wall is 600 miles from Winterfell is a pretty big exaggeration. Secondly, he probably stole horses along the way to make the trip quicker. It's a pretty obvious explanation.
But do you understand why I had to kill him?
I'm gonna go with HBO demanded a death scene every 10 minutes.
No, it's because the man who passes judgment should be the one to wield the sword. Listen to him, Jeremy. Also, Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword.
I like this Eddard Stark fella. Steadfast and full of integrity. I'm really excited to have someone to root for through the entire run of this series. Good thing he's not going anywhere.
How many times am I going to say this? Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
So he was like...
The madman sees what he sees.
This in no way answers the question.
It does, actually. Bran wanted to know if the man had lied about seeing a White Walker, and Ned answered that a madman sees what he sees, implying that he was not lying about what he saw, but what he saw was not real.
Also, my family has a similar expression. It goes something like, a madman lets his son watch him decapitate an innocent man with a broadsword.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
The sheer scope of this show is both a huge strength and a huge weakness. Sure, each new location and character deepens the world, but on the other hand, there's no way I'm remembering all these places and names, which is why I end up referring to people as that one dragon lady or the incest twins.
It really isn't difficult to remember who all the most important characters are. The, quote, dragon lady and incest twins are some super important characters. Daenerys Targaryen, Jaime Lannister, and Cersei Lannister. Pay attention and you might be able to remember them.
When we were 7, you jumped off the cliffs at Castle Rock. 100-foot drop into the water. You were never afraid.
Two characters we know zero about, but sure, let's dive headfirst into a story from their past upon meeting them. This is also known as Martin's Position.
This story gives us an idea of the Kingslayer's personality while also showing us the relationship that Jaime and Cersei have.
Is it just me, or does Ned seem a little too into this sword cleaning? Someone may love their sword just a little too much.
They're currently in the Godswood, which is where the Starks go to pray. Clearly, Ned is praying while cleaning his sword.
The Raven brought more news.
I put the comics section on your bed for later. Bran took the sports section, but I'm pretty sure the Raven scammed us because I can't find the arts and lifestyle page.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Spider-Bran does whatever a Spider-Bran does.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
While this hound helmet looks super cool, it seems insanely impractical.
This is exactly the type of thing real knights would have worn in medieval days. It's called an intimidation factor, Jeremy. You'd be scared as fuck if you went up against this guy in a battle.
Where's Arya? Sansa, where's your sister?
As rare as a king's visit to Winterfell is, wouldn't Lady Stark have noticed before now that one of her children was missing?
In case you haven't noticed, there are a fuck ton of people here.
I have a son, you have a daughter. We'll join our houses.
I wish arranged marriages were that easy. The last time I tried to arrange a marriage with my son and my friend's daughter this fast, I got a restraining order from Billy Ray Cyrus.
Robert is the king of Westeros and can order an arranged marriage if he damn well pleases. It really is that easy.
I present my honored guests, Viserys of House Targaryen, Aji Anaha Ashelat.
Why is Illyrio speaking Dothraki now when he just introduced Daenerys and Viserys to them in English?
Because he was telling the Dothraki their names while also making sure Viserys and Daenerys would understand what's going on.
Do you take me for a fool? I take you for a king.
You'd think with the constant treachery that is the hallmark of Westeros, the people who live here would have evolved to know when smoke is being blown up their ass.
Viserys is an idiot, as the show clearly expresses. Pay attention.
I would let his whole tribe you. All 40,000 men and their horses too, if that's what it took.
Brothers, what are you gonna do, am I right?
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Do you think Joffrey will like me? What if he thinks I'm ugly?
I know this is the Dark Ages and such, but if Sansa had an Instagram, I get the feeling the amount of selfies on it would likely outnumber the amount of candles in the entirety of Westeros.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche. Also, Sansa is a 13-year-old girl, so you calling her hot is kinda creepy.
You are the bastard, though.
Lord Eddard Stark is my father.
And Lady Stark is not your mother, making you the bastard.
Biology, brought to you by Game of Thrones.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Also, if you were playing the bastard drinking game, this scene alone would give you alcohol poisoning.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
She says Jon Arryn was murdered by the Lannisters.
Not even going to give Lewin a chance to get out, so he's not privy to info that could lead to his death? That's harsh.
Maester Lewin is a trusted citizen of Winterfell and Ned's loyal servant. They have no reason to keep the information from him.
If this news is true, and the Lannisters conspire against the throne, who but you can protect the king?
Godfather of Thrones!
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Meanwhile, at Burning Man,
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
I piss on Dothraki omens. I've waited 17 years to get my throne back.
I didn't realize Viserys was Targaryen for one-dimensional asshole. Any way we can speed up his demise? Anyone at the wedding have a pot of molten gold handy? Anyone?
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Core play.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Dothraki wedding without at least 3 deaths is considered a dull affair.
Much like how HBO execs pick their shows. We need at least 3 deaths at a wedding or 5 boobs at a funeral. Your call.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Dragon's eggs, Daenerys.
Whoever has to follow this gift better have something good. I would hate to be the guy going next that got them a toaster.
Jeremy makes a cringy joke that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.